Hello, Hamish here from mortgagesonline.co.nz. I've got Sani with me today, and what are we talking about, Sani?
Okay, Hamish, today we're going to talk about inflation because I feel that I need to know more about it.
Well, I can tell you a few things. Let's get into some of the technical terms, but also, I guess, you probably want to know what inflation is, the basics of it, right? So let's just get into that. There was a time when inflation wasn't so important to the central bank because it just wasn't part of their targets. Guess when that was?
I'm not too sure, Hamish. Oh, in the 80s.
Yeah,
in the 80s,
yeah. So
Hamish,
late 80s,
yes.
inflation target came in.
Okay.
And I think our central bank was one of the pioneers in this. So if you look at the price increases of goods and services, right? And this is showing you the change. Big changes there in the 80s. And then inflation targeting comes in, and then we have fairly kind of stable prices for a long time. Lately, of course, as you know, things are kind of...
Okay, so my question is, inflation. Inflation gets higher, dollar value gets lower? Is that how it works?
Look, it's not so much that, but it is interconnected in that if we have a weaker New Zealand dollar, then it does cost more to buy things from overseas, I guess.
Because our dollar value is lower compared to, say, America or somewhere else.
Yep, and that's where tradable inflation kind of plays in. But
all right.
this is kind of an example of how we measure inflation, right? We look at a basket of goods, and just to give you an example of what's included in those goods, these are some of the things that came in and some of the things that went out at different decades. So your Naughty by Nature cassette audio tape that I borrowed back in the 2000s.
So that went out in the
2000s. So that they don't look at prices of that. 2020, surprisingly, e-cigarettes. Boom.
Everybody's vaping nowadays, Hamish.
We're looking at the prices of those vapes.
Yeah.
And they contribute towards inflation. So, that's in. So, does that answer most things for you, Sani?
Well, yeah, but I want to also know, because I've heard, Hamish, that there's something called non-tradable.
Tradable. Okay, yes, tradable, non-tradable.
Yeah.
So tradable inflation is basically, it's stuff that
we trade?
Well, so non-tradable inflation, let's put it that way, is basically that does not face foreign competition.
Okay.
So non-tradable inflation is probably more like what we do with our mortgage services and stuff.
Okay.
Core inflation is basically inflation excluding energy and food.
Okay.
So stuff that's more volatile.
Yeah.
Could change quicker. So core inflation gives you a different read. But remember, the central bank, they do look at these things, but their target really is headline, basically all of inflation really, headline inflation, it's called, which includes energy, food, and their target is 1 to 3%.
Okay, so 1 to 3%. So you're kind of looking at a mid 2, right? If you want to
that is the language. Yeah, mid of 2. So that's pretty much I think the basics of it. That's as much as attention span as we've got of the viewers, I think here.
And thank you so much, Hamish, because now I have a fair idea of what the components of inflation are.
Yes,
and I'm sure our customers
It's home time for you.
It is.
Usually finish.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching.
Have a lovely evening.